Hello, this is Rumi from Awaaz, and I'm at the picket line for the Canadian Postal Workers Union in Langley. I'm going to talk to some of the postal workers here regarding why they're on the picket, why strike, why now.
Hi, I'm Holly Isaac. I'm the first vice president of the Fraser Valley West Local. I'm a letter carrier, but the rural suburban mail carriers here on this picket line here in Logan, Langley, BC are near and dear to my heart.
So today we're standing in the rain and we're here at the picket line. So what inspires you to be here? What's inspiring all of these people standing here in this cold, braving all the weather conditions, and striking for their rights?
Part of what we're here for is an increase in wages, but also benefits and a right to retire with dignity. And we don't want to be racing to the bottom for the gigification of work. We know so many people who have to use their own vehicles to go do work, and they barely break even because of the cost of gas or insurance out here in BC. So we're out here to make sure that the whole working class can make a decent living, because we all know it's super expensive out here in BC.
Plus, the cost of living has gone up, as we have seen in the last few years. Have your wages kept up with that all these years, or that's one of the major reasons?
While it's a major reason, it's not the only major reason. Our wages have not kept up at all. Just to the last while, I think inflation was something like over 16%, and we got 2% per year for the last 2 years that we extended our contract. So we extended our contract in good faith, expecting that we would actually have a good offer for the wages and the benefits and everything else that comes along with it, and that hasn't happened so far at the bargaining table, and we're at a standstill.
So we are entering the second week of the picketing. So what was the reaction has been from government side or people on the bargaining table? What's something you can share with us? What's happening there on the table, and what kind of reaction you have received from the government?
I know that the minister in charge of Canada Post has basically, without outright saying it, called on Canada Post to start acting like this is a public service, not just something that's for profit, because at the end of the day, Canada Post is a public service, and we're serving every single address in this country. And if people aren't getting their mail, they're not getting that public service, and they're not going to be able to have access to what they have a right to in what we have. So
as employees of Canada Service, even if it's as a public service, to, like you said, to have better wages, to have better working conditions. Like you said, many people are using their own personal vehicles to do this job. So what kind of risks are there related to doing that? Because again, there might be a cost involved in taking your own vehicles to work and using it for the public service.
So you're right, there are a whole ton of risks for using your own vehicle, and these folks often take on an extra cost that shouldn't be on them. It should be on Canada Post. Canada Post should be leading the charge in treating their employees well. But as we can see in this round of negotiations, they're not interested in that. They're not interested in, making sure that workers are treated fairly and right. They're interested in their bottom line, and that's just not okay.
So do they pay their own insurance on the car? Like, doesn't Canada Post cover anything? Like, what happens if you're using it for work and the car stops in the middle of somewhere? Who is going to cover that cost?
The employees are required to have their own delivery insurance, specifically in BC. ICBC requires that. So this is the only province that I'm aware of that actually has that. Sorry, somebody honked.
Solidarity?
Solidarity. It's the only province that I'm aware of that actually has that stipulation. So all of our rural suburban mail carriers who are delivering in this province have to pay an additional cost, as well as the insane amount for gas that we have out here, especially in the Greater Vancouver region. You'll see a lot of that with the taxes that are on that as well.
So how long do you think this will continue? What do you think? What's the road look like ahead?
Ultimately, I think we're out here until Canada Post starts negotiating in good faith. So if they want it to end sooner, get to the bargaining table and actually bargain. Don't just put your feet up or act like we're the ones that are hurting you. We're the only reason that Canada Post would make any money in the first place. Without the workers, as you can see, nothing moves.
No, there's also a public reaction about it, right? Because it's a Christmas seasons. One thing I keep hearing from people like, why did they have to pick this particular season? Why did they have to do it right around Christmas? Because people are expecting mail and deliveries. What's your reaction to? What's your opinion about that? What's your observation about that? How you want to talk about it? Like why this time? And how? What do you want to convey to those people who are talking like that?
We want to go back to work. We never want to actually inopportune other people, especially small businesses. So shout out to the small businesses. Please go shop local. Don't shop online. But ultimately, it came down to the fact that Canada Post wanted to change our working conditions and start laying people off. So we had to go on strike to protect our workers because at the end of the day, people need to be able to make a living and they need to have good, solid, strong wages and benefits. And this time of year is the time of year that unfortunately has the most leverage. But it's been a year. So this could have been dealt with long before Christmas time came around.
Yeah, because people generally think it just happens out of the blue. But here's the thing I want to convey to myself too. It doesn't happen out of the blue. There's a lot of negotiation that goes behind the scenes. There's a lot of negotiation already happening. So can you shine a little bit light on that?
So our negotiations teams have been all in Ottawa for over a year now, having discussions with the negotiations team in Canada with Canada Post. And I mean, they're working weekends. I'm pretty sure since this strike has started, they haven't had a day off. So they're working really, really hard, and they need that to be mirrored on the other side because obviously something's got to give.
It's not reciprocating on the other side. And what do you think about generally how this union is working? What's your own personal opinion about unionization and how it has positively helped you over these years?
I think unions are still useful and they are still relevant today because we come together and we bring up the whole entire working class because we don't fight for just ourselves. We fight for everybody else who's trying to make it day to day. And so when you have 55,000 people strong saying, no, this is how it's going to be, we raise everybody up because as the saying goes, a rising tide raises all ships.
That was a great quote over there. What's the last thing? Any message for the people? Any message for fellow union workers that you want to convey, and to the regular people who will be listening to this clip?
For our union brothers and sisters out there, thank you so much for the solidarity, and for everybody else, please be patient with us. We know this is not ideal, and we want to get back to work and serving our customers that we have built relationship with. And also, as I said earlier, please keep shopping local. Go to your brick and mortar stores and support those small businesses that are going to need your help more than ever right now during this Christmas season when things aren't moving across the country.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving your time. I really appreciate that. And I hope people will love listening to your voice and those hope and solidarity in the message. Thank you so much.